Hello, welcome to the CheersBot beta. All functionality here is still in development and will have bugs, so please message me in my Discord or directly on Twitter if you have any questions, bugs to report, or feature requests. So let's go ahead and walk through how to set up CheersBot with your Twitch stream, and more importantly, how to set up the integration with VTube Studio so that you can trigger model swaps and hotkey triggers using channel point redemptions on your channel. All right, so if we come over here, this is what the CheersBot homepage looks like. You'll log in here at cheers.hawk.bar. And then the first thing you need to do is connect your user account. This will be the account that you use to log in to the CheersBot. So you'll click on here, you'll click on Connect Twitch Account, and you'll see a pop-up screen like this. For user accounts, all I need is your email address just to verify that you are a legitimate account. And so you click authorize and boom, you're logged in. But you also need to create a channel account. So you also come here and click connect channel account. Do the same thing again. This one has a larger set of permissions. If you don't feel comfortable with granting any of these to a program, then feel free to opt out of the CheersBot beta. But needs the ability to read if anyone's been banned in order to make sure that banned people can't trigger things. View channel point custom rewards and the redemptions on your channel, self-explanatory. Get a list of all your subscribers and check if they're subscribed. This is also useful for various functionality and development. And view your channel's moderation data like timeouts, bans, that sort of thing. But that's it. It doesn't actually perform any moderation actions. It doesn't control your stream directly at all. So if that all sounds okay to you, then you can click authorize. All right, and now that's out of the way, we can see what it actually looks like. So once you're logged in, you'll see your channel here at the top left corner under your control panels. Log into your channel there, and you'll see this screen. So this is your control panel for CheersBot. This browser page. You'll want to keep this open while you're streaming in order to maintain the connection to VTube Studio and also to drive any channel point redemptions that require manual interaction. So here you see this overlay URL. This you want to add into your OBS setup as a browser source. So you can copy that link. And then I'm going to use Streamlabs OBS, but you can use regular OBS too. That works just fine. And you'll create a new browser source and paste that URL in there. You can set your size to whatever you want. I recommend making it the same size as your OBS window. So in my case, 1920 by 1080, but you can use whatever you want. And then you'll want to check control audio via OBS. That'll allow you to mute sound redeems or control them using the volume settings in OBS. And I recommend turning off shutdown source when not visible, but it's up to you. That'll prevent it from having to refresh quite as often. And with that set up, you got the overlay part set up. And now you'll probably want to come in here to configuration, go down to the user and channel info configuration. And you can change where messages show up within the overlay, which corner, what colors they use. You can choose what bot will be registered with your channel. By default, Heck and CheersBot will be available to you. And you can change the command prefix if you have other bots that might collide with CheersBot. All right, but now probably what you're all actually here for is the VTube Studio module. So find this in the list, VTube Studio, and click Enabled. So you'll notice right off the bat it says not connected to VTube Studio. As long as this page isn't open or this icon is being displayed, VTube Studio is not connected to CheersBot. So any redemptions that you set up here will not go through until it's regained connection. That is very important. So, but you could go ahead and start setting up things, but this will be way easier if we have VTube Studio running first. So let's go ahead and do that. So with this release, you'll have to use the Steam version of VTube Studio because we're using the beta version of VTube Studio. If you come in here on Steam and find VTube Studio in your library, you probably are not currently using the beta. So go to Properties, Betas, and select the VTS Public Beta. If you don't see it in the list, then join the VTube Studio Discord, which has instructions for where to find the beta code. If you put in the code here and click Check Code, then it should show up in the list and you can select it. You might have to wait for Steam to reinstall the beta version, but it's really important we use the beta version because that is what has the API that CheersBot uses. In a future version, it will be in the regular version of VTube Studio, and you'll be able to use it like normal. But for this beta period, you will have to use the beta version of VTube Studio. Now that that's out of the way, let's go ahead and launch VTube Studio. It's going to take a minute to start up, but there we go. And it's now running for me. So give it a minute for it to start up. Alrighty. And then settings should pretty much be good to go by default. But just in case, you might need to play around with connection settings. All right, so that's running. So now let's go back and check CheersBot and look at that. You got the green check mark now, which means it's currently connected to VTube Studio. Configure redeems will trigger, and lists will be populated based on the currently loaded model. So now we can actually go in and configure our model swaps. So let's go ahead and set up one. So everything in CheersBot triggers off of channel point redemptions. So you'll need to set those up in Twitch first. I'll go ahead and do that really quickly for demonstration. So you go to Manage Rewards. Then you'll set up whatever your rewards you want. So in this case, I've got this trigger hotkey redeem and random live 2D model redeem for demonstration purposes. But you can make them whatever you want and set them up within Twitch. And then they'll show up in this list in CheersBot. So here, let's set up a random live 2D model swap. So this emote, show username and message, that is for an on-screen message that gets displayed whenever the channel point reward gets redeemed. So in this case, I do want to display a message. So I want to say blah, 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 redeemed a random model. And I want to show the username of the person who redeemed it. I want that message to remain on screen for 5 seconds. And then I want the model swap to load a random model. So now this model list shows a list of all the models that are available in VTube Studio. You can also see them here by clicking on this icon. You can see the list of available models. I'll go ahead and say that any of them can be loaded by this model swap. All right, and let's try testing this now that we've got it set up. So click Test Model Swap. And you can see that message there in the top left corner. And my model swapped. It's now the cat. And I can try it again. New message, and now we're the dog. So if anyone redeems that channel point reward on Twitch, and I can go ahead and demonstrate that now, then that model swap will happen. There you go. So very straightforward. As long as this CheersBot control panel page is open and everything is connected, you got the green check mark, then those things will just happen whenever the channel point reward gets redeemed. If you don't want to show a message for whatever reason, you can just leave the message field blank and there won't be a message displayed. Also in this beta release is hotkey triggers. They are a little bit more rough around the edges than model swaps, so bear that in mind. They're more likely to break. But you can trigger hotkeys that are set up within VTube Studio. So for example here, she has a hotkey called MyAnimation1. So let's go ahead and set up a reward that triggers that hotkey. So same thing, we'll have no message, so we'll leave all that as default. Set it to a single hotkey, MyAnimation1. And if we click Test, she plays the animation. You can configure a lot of different things with the hotkeys in VTube Studio, so I encourage you to play around with it. But it's just for demonstration purposes. And so if anyone redeems this channel point reward, then that hotkey will be triggered, and in this case, they'll play that animation. You can also do things like swapping the background, swapping models, resetting your microphone, a lot of different things. And with that, you should be basically good to go. So as long as you have CheersBot running and you're logged in and you got VTube Studio running on the beta branch, then you should be able to use channel points to interact with your model. Very cool stuff. There are a bunch of other features within CheersBot, and I highly recommend you play around with them off stream. See if maybe any of them, suit your fancy. But that is basically it. Please message me in my Discord or directly on Twitter. Again, if you have any questions, bugs to report, feature requests, I'll try to respond as quickly as I can. And yeah, welcome to the CheersBot beta. Hope this software is useful to you. All right, see you later.